I gotta get a pole on the pole because it cracked. It's too much clothes in there. Because it was
Is
all
it
the
on
clothes.
this side or that side? It's the whole thing.
The right hand side, the wooden bar just broke. So we have to go through the clothes and see if something needs to be. It was just too much stuff on it.
Yeah. Because after she just put it in another.
Yeah, it was just too much stuff. It cracked and broke. The left hand side of the closet is still up there, but the right hand side it just cracked and broke down now.
So I'm gonna get over there and try to do her little things.
I mean, her room still looks good. It's just the closet area.
Yeah.
But the room that's
And I gotta get to her. I ain't getting that.
Good morning.
Hey,
Good morning.
Miss Mary, you got a song?
Yeah.
Oh, she said, yeah, she excited.
I'm here on my mind. I'm G Morton song. Blessed assurance.
Oh, come on then.
I can't help you this morning.
I'm going to take no women. Oh my God, coming through the door.
Look, I couldn't just say ain't nothing there. No flu, no COVID.
It's the weather.
You said the top to drive to Excuse 14? Huh? Excuse me. Morning.
Good morning.
Okay, to drive to 14. Last
That's all right. I'm gonna sing it for you.
My phone.
249.
Jesus is mine. Oh, what a foretaste of glory divine. Heir of salvation, purchase of love, born of His Spirit, washed in His blood. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all day long. This is my story, this is my song, praising my Savior all day long.
All right. Oh, good. Yeah, Miss Mary.
That's it.
That was great. God, I come to you today, thanking you for getting us through another week, allowing us to wake up this morning on this lovely day and just come out to this house of worship, all of the lift of your name. Now, Father God, I ask you to bless those who have showed up for Sunday school, and special blessing those who may be on their way. And Father God, I ask you to bless the instruction of the hour. Plenty rest as we great message.
Just congested.
Amen. Amen.
Have you ever received a sign of something? Have y'all ever received a sign that something good was happening? Anybody received a sign that you believe God sent you a sign?
Yeah, I did. When my brother died, this is no lie, I was riding up the road and I was looking up at the sky. My brother was in a white robe because he loved to sing and looked like he was just going on up. And I said, God just telling me my brother is okay. Yeah.
Can't remember.
All the time is something that
I received signs, God prepared you for things. God showed you visions of things. When I was a little girl, my daddy died. But that night when I went to bed, it was like a little vision. And I went up, it was a funeral home, we went in and I looked in it with my daddy. So I think God was kind of preparing me for he was going to leave this earth. So I will say, you get signs. God shows us different things to come before it happened. I guess to prepare us. Sometimes you get a sign that comforts you. When you're going through things, God sends something, that makes you feel like it's going to be okay. Or you'll see a rainbow in the sky. All of those are signs when you're going through things. Have you ever received a sign when you were going through something was going okay, or a sign that something was getting ready to happen to prepare you? when yeah. Have you ever had to, receive where you grieve? We all been through some grief.
Yeah.
And today we'll be talking about grieving, mourning.
Yeah.
Anybody had to grieve?
Yeah, when my mama died.
I was gonna say, I think everybody experienced. I mean, yes. My daddy died, all my uncles has died. Grief is something. And I cannot imagine, as we talk about the text today with Ezekiel, he had to grieve his wife without even, crying, without, mourning. God told me you just got to keep on going. And I can't even imagine that because, and I will admit many times when I did experience grief in my life, though, you know how you act like, ain't nothing happened.
Yeah.
I think sometimes you do that to help yourself a little bit go along. But at the end of the day, I remember thinking, this ain't reality. This really not happening to me.
Yeah.
So I think that's another thing we do too. We go because we figure, and we keep on going, not to think about it.
Yeah.
And how did you respond to grief? How did y'all really respond to grief?
Well, when my mama died, I was in Atlanta, and my sister called me. She said, "Granny gone." I said, "Well, where's she gone? Back to the hospital?" She said, "No, she died." I screamed so hard. I cried so, and there's no lie. I saw the window. I was upstairs. I saw the window. It's like my spirit just said, "Just jump." But my mom and my mind said no. It just hurt me because I wasn't there. I was there when my daddy died. I was beside him. I was beside my uncle when he died. I was beside my grandma when she died. And I was beside my brother when he died. But when my mama looked like God took me away for my mama for some reason. I guess he felt like I had so much grief in my life that might have took my mind. But I screamed. I cried so hard.
And people grieve differently. I mean, some people cry. Some people shut down. Have you ever been around people? They just don't talk. They don't say nothing about it. They go to isolate themselves.
That's my husband.
Sometimes, grief, it looks different. And sometimes people just stay, active, keep going to work. Act like I was saying earlier, act like nothing ever happened. Some people grieve, and you find some people can't get out the bed and bring it like in a depression state. So we all do different with grief.
Yeah.
But that's what today we talk about grieving. Who do you call on in your time of grief? Call on the Lord. Oh, come on. I will say, when you're grieving any type of loss, you got to call on the Lord. You got to, ask God to help you, give you the strength. You know what I'm saying? And not only that, you need people. Let's be honest, when you're grieving, you got to also get with other people that comfort you, and you can get strength from and encouragement. And I'll tell anybody, sometimes when you're depressed or you're grieving, you shouldn't be alone. You should have somebody, a support. And that's why, with family members, I think about, I have friends in that age, and one of my friends, her daddy died unexpectedly with a heart attack. Well, of course, when things is different when you've been sick all along, and all of a sudden, you just gone, and you're grieving. But you know what they did for a whole month? They every day went over there to their mom's house. They ate dinner, they prayed together, they fellowship, and they showed something. A lot of times when we grieve, right that week, that 2 weeks, you might have people, they might come by your family, they may call. After that, it's over with. But they stayed there. Even now, they still check on them. Mama don't stay by herself. They ask Mama come, live with them. But of course, older people, they like their own house. So she said, I'm going to stay there. But I thought it was interesting that they took time, that they took a month. They know she was not going to be alone. They were going to come together. They were going to pray together. They were going to eat together. And that's sometimes what we need to do. So even after the time when you think grief is over with, still check on somebody. Still call somebody. Have you ever had to face the consequences for past behavior, good or bad? Come on, D.
Something that you do, is wrong. It's consequence.
Oh, yes.
To your actions.
When we children, we face consequences. Think about it. Jalen in here, he young. He know that guess what? If he do something wrong, if he don't listen, it gonna be some consequences. Same thing with grown people. Now, I don't think we always get everything we're supposed to get. Think about it now. And many times I should have got a whooping, or I should have got a punishment. And sometimes your parents will give you a escape card and be like, you know what, I'm going to let this slide this time. And you think you're really going to get a whooping. And then, you know, we old in here, so we know that if they ain't whoop you till it's time to go to bed. You think that everything was good. Then when it's time to lay there, they'll turn your tail up, come in there and beat you before you go to bed. So I will say, but you notice, I ain't always get that whooping. So I thank God. So that's the same thing about God. You know, we don't always get them whoopings like we should. We don't always got to go through the consequences that we should. You know, sometimes, you know, even with Jalen, you know, you show up at school, sometimes your parents be like, oh, okay, you don't need to do that. And I think sometimes we need to do that to other people. Just because they do something, they hurt you, they might, you know, treat you not so well, they might not do what they say they're going to do. Sometimes you got to give them an escape card and be like, you know, it's okay. You know, or whatever the case may be. What could you do when you are grieving? What can you do when you're grieving?
Just ask God to help you get through it.
Yes.
Talk to somebody.
Talk to somebody. Sometimes you need therapy. People don't realize. We won't talk about it, but you need counseling sometimes. I have a lot of kids that I counsel because of grief. That can you imagine? There's a difference when your parents die and you're grown. But can you imagine when you're a child and you got to go through a death? It's hard to process. You know that my mom, my daddy will not be here anymore. So I will say, I tell anybody, yes, grieving. What can you do? Surround yourself with good people. You know what I'm saying? Come to church. Don't isolate yourself. Pray. You know what I'm saying? And I will say, get out. You know, find positive things to do. Think about the goodness of God. I mean, hold on. That helps with all kinds of grief. But I will say that, you know, we're talking about grief. And can you imagine we're in Ezekiel today? And Ezekiel, I tell you, now, it's something about the prophet. God, you know, it was different. You know, we was with Jeremiah. But now we see, now what's going on? Ezekiel is actually in captivity to the Babylons. He the one, first prophet, they over there. Can you imagine? You told me before that God didn't call in a messenger. That had to be grief by itself. Can you imagine somebody grabbing you, taking you from Jerusalem, and now guess what? You over here in captivity, in bondage. So that was hard on him already, and his wife, his family. You know that. I mean, so you can imagine where he's at when we're talking about this story today. Can we get somebody to read Ezekiel's sign?
I'll read it.
Thank you.
Terrence didn't care if his lips were moving. He didn't care what people would think, as he sat in the province office. He was praying hard. Terrence received notification from his university 3 days prior that he was facing academic suspension. His grade point average was now 1.6. 1.6 points. He had been on academic warning and academic probation. After not raising his grade point to 2.0, he would probably be placed on suspension. Terrence wasn't even a bad student in many ways. You have poor time management skills. You goof off and you are always wanting someone else to bail you out. His sister said, God can't help you if you don't do the work, if you don't apply yourself. But that was exactly what Terrence wanted God to do. The rescue him. I need you, Lord. Touch the hearts of this academic commitment. Yeah, committed, not commitment, committed, and let them put me back on academic warning or probation. With a warning or more probation, Terrence could continue his second year of school uninterrupted. But with a suspension, he would have to pause for 1 semester, then reapply. His mother would never understand. He would lose his scholarship. It's not like Terrence went out drinking, but he was choosing his friends and extracurricular activities over studying and going to class. Lord, if you get me out of this, pray, Terrence, I promise I will change. I will apply myself. I will study hard. I will get my grades up.
So you see Terrence, you know, goofed off in college, you know, running, had a little friends, you know, just doing what he want to do and not doing his work. So his grades is, you know, actually, you know, falling behind, and now he's in front of a committee to see if he can stay in school. And you know what? If he didn't call on the Lord, he called on the Lord. And he prayed to God, said, God, please. You know, I don't want to leave school. Then on top, I don't want my scholarship taken. And then my mama going to be what? Disappointed. And we all do this sometimes. I'm being honest. You know, we don't think about the consequences for our actions. And you see that. Number 1 says, when have you neglected to care for something important? When have you neglected to care for something that's important?
You know, I've probably done it once or twice. You know, here and there.
Yeah.
I'll do that later. Ain't no worry about that right now. You know, put it off.
And we all do that.
Put it off.
You already do. I do it.
Yeah,
I
we
do
all
it.
do that.
We do it, you know. We do it on our jobs sometimes.
Yeah,
Until you know the deadline, and we know we got to get it complete.
right.
Or somebody says something to us. So let's be open and honest. We'll say we're gonna do this. You know, even when we tell somebody to do, we're gonna do something. Sometimes we'll do it, sometimes we don't. And sometimes we neglect ourselves. That's what came in. When I was thinking about that, I neglect myself sometimes. You know, when I know I need go to my doctor, my doctor would tell me this is what you need to do. You know what I'm saying? You know, you're borderline diabetic. You need to eat right. You know what I'm saying? And you need to come back in 3 months or 6 months to get your blood tested and to see where your numbers are. And guess what? Sometimes I'll go a little further because I already know I've been eating. I'm going to get my blood sugar. I'm going to go a month while I'm doing what it is right. I'm consequences. But at the end of the day, is it helping? No, because eventually, if I don't get it under control, you're going to get some medication. You know what I'm saying? So I would say it's consequence, but we neglect ourselves. We neglect getting our rest. We neglect, guess what? Cleaning up like we should. We put it off. We say, you know what? I'm tired today. I ain't gonna clean this up. And guess what? It's piling up. You notice that? That's the only thing about it. You know, we think in our mind, we'll do it tomorrow. Then tomorrow, guess what? Something else come up.
Yeah.
So we do a lot of neglecting things. Do we always face the consequences for our choices? Wow, why not?
I don't think we do. Because some of the things we do, the Lord let us slide.
Oh, come on, man.
You know, we let it slide, and then we say, well, I'll do it this time, but that time, like this guy was saying, Darren. You're putting it off. Because you figure somebody gonna do it for you. They're gonna look out for you, you're gonna take care of it, you ain't gotta worry about it.
Yeah.
But all in all, we gotta do it ourselves.
Oh, come on.
And not put it off.
Yeah. I think we get, God don't always let us have a consequence for our action.
Not all the time.
Sometimes, I'm being honest, and give you some grace. I'm just going to be honest. Now, sometimes when we keep on doing it, the Bible talks about if you turn to a reprobate mind, it's going to be some consequence. Because now you're doing it, and you know you're doing it, and you keep on trying your luck, and it shouldn't be doing it. And we get complacent, yes. Anybody else? Choices. And that's the key. That's a good word, choice.
Yeah.
And that's one thing about God. God gives you a choice, free will. So, and that's the key. What we're going to do with our free will is we're going to really do the right thing or we're not going to do what's right. How can love of freedom distract or mislead us? How can a love of freedom? That's a good one too. Freedom, we're free to do what we want to do, but that can be what? Misleading. Because, if it ain't a consequence, and I got freedom to do what I want to do, sometimes, guess what? We won't do the right thing. Now, I ain't noticed that we'll keep on doing what we want to do instead of doing what God has called us to do or what we know we're supposed to do. So it's a difference when you talk about freedom. Freedom can go both ways. It's a blessing to have freedom, but then I will say sometimes we got to have what? Some boundaries. Got to have boundaries, because you give people too much free will, what's going to happen?
They overdo it. She could be blessed or cursed.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Depending on how we use it. It could be both of those things.
Yes.
And you know how we do, like I said, we get complacent. We're going to sit there and keep on putting it all right. Clothes stacking up in the corner, you see them stacking up, you still throwing stuff over there. You got it up to go watch.
And that is true.
I do it tomorrow.
Yeah. And we all can look at times, 1 year, Lord, I said I'm going to take the Christmas tree now. That Christmas tree stayed up the whole year.
Mine is still up.
Mine's still up. Look, so I tell anybody, so we actually put things on.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest, and we can laugh about it, but we're getting older.
Yeah.
So what we used to do, I don't know about y'all, but I can't do everything I used to do. And I used to clean my house in a day. My whole house. Now I'm telling you, if I can clean it in 3-4 days, then I got to really concentrate on it. A part each, part to get it complete in a week.
Yeah.
But I will say yes. But the thing is, sometimes though, we got to know that God give us free will. It's a blessing to have free will. But that's what everything that we want to do, I don't think we're supposed to do. Nor do God want us to do. So we got to have some checks and balances. But this is a good text today. We're talking about Ezekiel. And how Ezekiel, the Lord is still raising up messengers. Even in exile, God needs somebody to speak to his people. Do you know that that's what, even when you in a foreign land, in captivity to the Babylon, God needed somebody to be the mouthpiece, to go and talk to the people. And then, let them know. But even then, can you imagine? But the Lord's still talking doom to the people. The people probably say, I'm already exiled. I'm already over here. We're already somewhere to leave our homeland. And then you still there. And they ain't going to raise up another leader, Ezekiel. And Ezekiel going to come talking about mourning and grief. And how this is going to be destroyed. How our family, we might not see them again. Can you imagine these people? They probably said, what in the world is going on? But do you know it is consequences for us?
It is.
It's consequence. Can we get somebody to read Ezekiel 3?
And he said to me, Son of man, listen carefully and take to heart all the words I speak to you.
Go down to your people in exile and speak to them. Say to them, this is what the sovereign Lord said. Whether they listen or fail to listen.
The word of the Lord came to me.
Son of man, with one blow, I am about to take away from you the delight of your eyes. Yet, do you not lament or weep or shed any tears?
Grown quietly. Do not mourn for the dead. Keep your turban fastened and your sandals on your feet. Do not cover your mustache and beard, or eat the customary food of mourners.
So I spoke to the people in the morning, and in the evening my wife died. The next morning I did as I had been commanded.
Can you imagine? This is Ezekiel. God speaking to him and said, and he said to me, God speaking to him, Son of man, listen carefully. God told him, listen to me. And take to heart all my words. Saying, I'm giving you some words. And guess what? And take it to heart what I'm saying to you. So sometimes you notice when God speaks to us, he said, take to heart what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? I want you to be, I want you to take some understanding that I'm giving you a word. I'm giving you some type of direction for your life. And it says, go now to your people. Saying, to your people, among your own people. In exile, let them know, you know what, y'all at exile, but I'm still speaking, even when you ain't where you're supposed to be, even when you ain't in the temple. That's what I got out of it. They no longer where the tabernacle at, but God is still speaking. Do you know God can speak even when you ain't in the church? He is speaking. Then he goes on to say, it says, and say to them, this is what the sovereign Lord says, whether they listen or fail not. Saying, regardless if they listen or not, you need to tell them this is what God is speaking to you. You know what I'm saying? And God is still speaking. Is everybody going to listen? No. But he was saying, I'm sending you as a messenger. The word of the Lord came to me. Son of man, with one blow, I'm about to take away from you the delight of your eye. In other words, then he said to him, I'm getting ready to do something, and it ain't going to be good. Let's be honest. He said, I'm getting ready to take away from the delight of your eye. Say that thing you love, I'm getting ready to destroy it.
Right.
So then I bet Ezekiel was saying, what in the world? And I'm supposed to go tell these people that they're already in captivity. Now I'm going to tell them, you know what? I'm getting ready to give them another blow. So let's go and see what else it says. Yet do not lament or weep or shed any tears. Say it then, when I'm going to take these things away, don't you cry. Right. Don't you mourn. Don't you weep. Don't say nothing. Can you imagine?
imagine? I'm getting ready to take away the tabernacle. Your people that was over there in Jerusalem is no longer going to be over there. But I'm telling you, I don't want you to weep. I don't want you to cry about it. That's a hard word. Then it says, groan quietly. Saying if you pray, go in your go pray by yourself. Nobody want to hurt. Then it says, do not mourn for the day. It said, don't even mourn for those that's dead. Can you imagine? Now you knew you were mourning your family, and you telling me all these things. It says to keep your turban fastened and your sandals on your feet. In other words, you got to keep it moving. You know what I'm saying? Get your hat on, don't put on no mourning clothes, don't put on sackcloth. You better put your sandals on, because I still got something for you to do. When I was listening, I said, Lord, this is something. Do not cover your mustache, your beard, and eat the customary food of mourning. Saying whatever you were doing when you mourn is no longer. I don't want you to mourn like this anymore. It says, so I speak to the, so then he got him, he spoke to the people in the morning. And in the evening, his wife died. Can you imagine? Now he go do what the Lord tell him. Then guess what? His wife is gone. We don't know she was sick. We don't know what happened. But now his wife, and then guess what it says? Then it says, and as I have commanded. So the next morning I did as I commanded. So then he couldn't move. He had to do what God told him to do. That's a hard pill to swallow. What are Ezekiel's duties as a prophet? What was his duties?
You do what God asked you to do. God was giving him command to go out and serve.
Yeah.
You had to do it no matter how you feel.
Yes.
God gave you instructions. You need to be this way, that way. You can't be that way. You can't be that way. Just do it. That's it.
Yeah. He was the messenger. He had to go to his people. There was an access, and he had to tell them the message if it was received or if it wasn't. He had to do what thus said the Lord, just like you said.
Yeah, Most High.
And that was a hard thing. God was still, but he's still raising up leaders, even in access. And he's telling him, when I'm telling you to say something, go see.
But you know what? I believe that Ezekiel had on the whole armor of God at that time.
Yeah.
He had to have it on.
Come on.
In order for him to take what God was telling him to do, and I'm going to kill your wife. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He had to already have the whole armor on in order for him to stand fast, and accept what God was telling him to do. He was all in.
We had that relation with the Lord anyway to still be able to hear from God in a foreign land. Because if you are in a foreign place, number one, your mind is at home. I don't know about y'all, but even when I went on vacation, after a couple of days, you ready to go back home. You start thinking about my bed, my normal routine I do. So you already know I might be over here, and then you in captivity. That means you doing what somebody else tell you to do. So can you remember, God is still speaking. So he had to still have a relationship with God for God to still speak to him. And then then we see something else too. He was obedient.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you know what? He could have been afraid. He could have said, you know what? I've seen what have happened to the other prophets when they said, thus said the Lord, in a rebuke message. I don't want to do it. I'm going to act like I ain't heard you, Lord. But he meant, I'm going to do it anyway. And then he could have been disobedient. When the Lord is saying to him not to mourn, can you imagine? He was aching. His heart was gone. Anybody lost a loved one? Guess what? I don't care what you said. I don't care what you do. The hurt is still there. You still feel it. You know what I'm saying? But to go on with your life like nothing never happened. So that showed that it don't matter where you at. That's one thing I got. It don't matter how far you have gone. God is still speaking. Even if you're mourning or whatever, God is with you. God had to be with Ezekiel as well as those that was in exile to be able to get them through this. I'm away from my home. I'm going through these circumstances. And now on top of it, I'm getting another message that's saying that something else is getting ready to happen.
But the whole time I think God is doing things that way because it's not, those people were their own worst enemies. I would have wound up killing all of them. We'd have wiped them all out. Because they were going against God's word. They kept rebelling against him no matter what he did good for them. They kept on rebelling.
Yeah.
Kept on rebelling. So, okay, you put him in that side. Okay, maybe I can get their attention that way.
Yeah.
That's what he did it for.
God called, he allowed it.
Yeah.
Nothing never happens that God don't allow.
Right.
It was a reason. But he even told Ezekiel, because of their sin, they will continue with idols, adultery, all kinds of, they were putting other things before God. And we do that sometimes. And it draws what? A consequence.
And then looked like God was letting people see what Ezekiel was saying, that he abide by it himself.
Oh, come on. And that's where the next one says, what is a sign act and what is its purpose? A sign act. That's a vision. That's a parable. Parables was what? Nothing but a story. It was a story, but this what he was saying, it was a demonstration. He was guess what? Before verbal communication, he was showing it. And that's what he did with Ezekiel. He allowed Ezekiel's wife to die for them to see that guess what? She dead, but he ain't mourning. So that was a sign to them that guess what? When the temple is destroyed, when their families, guess what, are gone, I want you to act the same way. And I will say that's another thing. When God raised up leaders, you got to lead by example. Ezekiel couldn't tell the people not to mourn. And then his wife is gone and he mourning and crying and all out of character and upset. So I will say that's why God used Ezekiel. Because he knew that Ezekiel could pass the test. And sometimes, God gives visions. He's still giving vision. That's why I asked at the beginning, have you ever had a sign? God give you a sign. A sign, and you might, and let me be honest, some people they think it's too spiritual, but God gives signs. When guess what, something don't feel right. I'm being honest. No, that's God. When guess what, that I don't feel right. Something going on even with sickness. Before they even say that this is on you, you got a sign in your body that something ain't right with you. I ain't feeling the same way. A sign, a vision. You know what I'm saying? That this is, and then even then, we have a vision that sometimes, somebody gonna pass away. Before the doctor say it, or we can feel it. We got a sign when you come in, and guess what? Something is off. Or you can look at, have you ever looked at somebody and seen something ain't right about them? They don't feel, something going on with them. That's a sign. That's a sign, but a lot of times people don't realize that. But take time for the signs. I'm being open and honest, because God gives signs. He gives demonstration.
As older people getting ready to transition,
Yes.
they have signs.
Come on,
They start seeing their loved ones, everything.
They surely
They start talking about them more.
Yes. Start talking about they saw them, they talk with them. When they start telling they talking with them and they see them, you already know God get ready to transition them. That is so true. You can go in there and you can feel when something is off. Even with our kids, let me be honest with you, we got parents in here. Have you known when your children are telling a lie? Let's be open and honest. Let me tell you, you can feel it. You know what I'm saying? You can tell them when they act, they ain't making eye contact. You know what I'm saying? They stay away from you more because you know that they ain't right. Signs. God gives signs with things. Signs.
My mother's boyfriend, before he died, he was much older. But the thing about it was that he used to be in the living room sleep, and he'd wake up and tell my mother, said, did you see the men? Where the men go? Did you see the men came in here to get me? That was before he died.
Yeah.
They came in, he was telling her that the people came to get him, but they left and told him they were coming back.
Yes.
Yeah. They visited him, and they left, but he said they told me that they were coming back.
Yeah.
He did that.
Yeah, go ahead.
When one of my aunts died, I was very young, and with Aunt Lizzie, and we went to the Hopewell Hospital, and she said, I'm going home tomorrow. And all of a sudden, she called all her dead sisters' names. Said, hey, she was talking to them. They came together. But she died the next day. And because she had told her she was going home. And her son said, they were Whit's mother. She ain't going home tomorrow. She's too sick. But she knew where she was going. Yeah, he just didn't know. He had a fit. He said, I ain't bad. She was going so quick. Yeah. But she knew.
Yeah. So, what does God tell Ezekiel to do when his wife dies?
don't mourn, don't cry, don't eat the same food that they will be giving you. Don't do nothing.
Other words, act like it never happened. Keep on going.
Keep on moving. Keep
Do
the
like you
sound on.
normally do. You know. Yeah, and can you imagine? Like I said, I keep thinking about it. Go keep
How
going.
I feel.
You know he had to have God. Anybody had some death. Let's be open and honest.
Yeah.
It turns you on to pieces. You don't know if you're going to come or going. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know about you. I don't know how I made it. I don't know how I got up. I don't know when I ate because I didn't eat for it. I mean, you just out of it. You're out of it for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Then I've experienced death where I act like it didn't exist. Anybody ever act like they, oh, it's going to be all right. I don't know what they talking about. They coming back. You people deal with death differently. They deal with death differently. But I will say, but can you imagine this man happened to go on and he had to be the example.
And he had to go on. It was so hard. But God, I think God was trying to let the people know too. Look what I did to him. And he's still showing, still obeying me. Because, you think about it. The people probably thought he was crazy.
And that goes to what we get ready to read now.
Oh, I'm
The
sorry.
people-
What I did.
But the people did. I mean, she's telling the truth. The people like, what is going on? First of all, it got their attention the way he was acting when his wife had just died. Because they're expecting one thing and he's doing another thing. So then it's something when he comes now to talk to the people a little bit more. They understand that, I see why he acted the way. Have you ever, God don't always reveal everything at one time. You know what I'm saying? You thinking it's one way. And then have y'all ever, a lot of times people die, then it's a birth. Have that ever happened to y'all? And y'all been, somebody died and then somebody be born. And you wonder why things happen. But at the end of the day, that shows the characteristics of Ezekiel, of being obedient. Even in Acts he had, and then the trust in his relationship with God. Because number one, to be a messenger, that meant he had to have a relationship with God, to be an access away from guess what? The tabernacle, his normal routine, to be over here and still be able to hear that God is speaking to me. Number one, that's somebody that had to have kept his relationship, even in captivity. So that means that guess what? When you're going through, that's what I got out of it. When you're going through, you got to keep your relationship with God. Got to keep your relationship with God.
Look, I think my sister thought I was crazy when Arthur passed because the hospital didn't come get the bed right away.
Yeah.
And that morning when he passed, the night I told my sister, clean that bed up. I said, clean the bed up. I said, yeah, change it. They said, what did you do? I said, I'm going to sleep in it tonight. They thought that was the craziest thing for me to sleep in that bed that he had passed. But I had the best night's sleep.
And then maybe that's where you felt like you was close to him. Like I said, people mourn differently. People mourn differently. But you could tell, God was setting an example through Ezekiel. God want to use us as example. How we deal with things, saying that we're Christians.
Yeah.
We can say that we're Christians, but people are watching the way we act, how we talk. When things grief and things do be taken away and going through trials and tribulations, they're looking to see how we respond to those things. Are we going to be all tore up? And sometimes we got to, guess what? Many times the Lord told me when I was grieving or I was suffering, he said, you know what, this suffering is not for you. And guess what? Right now is not the time to grieve because they need you. In family sometimes, guess what? Everybody can't fall apart at the same time. Do you know that? So sometimes we got to keep it together. And that's the same thing here. They were already in a foreign land. So God had to raise Ezekiel up to say that, guess what? This ain't just to be, y'all ain't just over here, but I'm getting ready to take the tabernacle. You're getting ready to get word that they've destroyed the temple. Then on top, you get ready to get word that they've destroyed your sons and your daughters, your family over there. So they will, guess what? God also was preparing them. Do you know that you get prepared before you go, guess what, through a real bad storm, but you can be able to handle it. Because I would say sometimes you couldn't handle it on your own. God prepares you before some devastating happens. He gives you strength, just like he did in, I think about with Elijah. Before, he knew that, guess what? After, he had killed all the false prophets. Then guess what? He sat under the juniper tree requesting to die, but the Lord would feed him. And then when afterward, he won't in none of that, he won't in the fight. But guess what? He came in that still small voice. But then guess what God told him? Go and anoint. Let him know that guess what? Your assignment is not over with. Same thing with Ezekiel. Letting them know that guess what? Your wife is gone, but I still got work for you to do. Do you know that even when people in our family die, God still, we ain't dead. So that means that we still got to go on. Yes, it's going to hurt because those people are not there with us anymore, but we still got to be going doing what the Lord tells us to do. Yeah. Can we get somebody to read Ezekiel 24?
Then the people asked me, won't you tell us what these things have to do with us? Why are you acting like this?
So I said to them, the word of the Lord came to me.
Say to the people of Israel, this is what the sovereign Lord says. I am about to desecrate my sanctuary, the stronghold in which you take pride, the delight of your eyes, the object of your affection. The sons and daughters you left behind will fall by the sword.
And you would do as I have done. You would not cover your mustache and beard or eat the customary food of mourners.
You will keep your turban on your head and your sandals on your feet. You will not moan or weep, but will waste away because of your sins and grumble among yourself.
Ezekiel will be assigned to you. You will do just as he has done. When this happens, you will know that I am the sovereign Lord.
At that time, your mouth will be open. You will speak with them and will no longer be silent. So you will be a sign to them, and they will know that I am the Lord.
What does it mean applied to the death of Ezekiel's wife? Because it was a reason. Didn't I say everything happens for a reason?
Yeah, always. So,
Because what? What was you going to say something?
yeah, because you can always,
What was the meaning applied to the death of Ezekiel's wife?
I like you said, God was preparing them.
Yeah.
Like he was letting them know all these people that y'all left behind, your children, your daughters, your sons, they are dead.
Yeah.
They gonna die.
Yeah.
So when Ezekiel faced these people, he done put up with some hardships too.
Yeah.
Now his wife died. So but God had already prepared him, so when he do get there, something maybe they'll be able to understand him better.
Oh, come on, man.
You know what I mean? Well,
Yeah.
so we talk to him. Because God was preparing these people, so when he get there, he can relate to what they were going through.
Yeah.
So,
They saw how he responded to his wife death.
see,
Then when you know the coming loss of what was the head, and then when they received that loss, then they could be able to respond the same way. And Ezekiel was letting them know the tabernacle is going to be destroyed. I mean, back in the day, their tabernacle, their church was their everything. You know, I'm just gonna be. If only we think our churches are everything the way back in the day, because those people they really and truly knew that that's what God's presence was, and it was very important to them to come and to be able to worship. And the same thing, so now they don't have a place to worship, but the last thing, their sons and their daughters are going to be destroyed. That is a hard pill to swallow. Not only are you going to take the tabernacle or the sanctuary from us, but now our children, the people that's left back there, going to be destroyed. That's a lot going on. But guess what? God used Ezekiel, because they're looking at Ezekiel saying, if you can go through this and you're still standing, you're still trying to go on, then guess what? I know that I got the strength to keep going on. I was wondering when I was reading it, I said, how in the world am I going to teach this lesson? Because when you go into this Old Testament, I'm going to be honest, it's a little hard. And I'm telling anybody, you got to read it a couple of times to even get some meaning of it. And then God began to speak, and he really didn't speak to this morning to let me know that guess what? I will use what the devil meant for your bad. God will turn it around. And guess what? God will use somebody else's situation to help you. It's many times I didn't have to go through things, or I didn't feel like I was alone because somebody else went through it and they didn't mind coming and sharing. And that's why we shouldn't be ashamed of what we've been through. And then guess what? When we are going through, it's how we go through it. You get what I'm saying? It's how we go through it. If we say we're Christian, yes, but it's all right too to say that I'm not okay. That's another thing that sometimes we tend to, people want us to be strong all the time. But we're not strong all the time. It's all right to say I don't feel good. It's all right to say that, guess what? I'm hurt right now. This thing has took me. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I'm trying to hold on, pray my strength. You know what I'm saying? That's the things God will go ahead.
Also, some of the things we go through is not intended to kill us.
Yeah.
It's intended to make us stronger.
Yes.
You know, it's like a sign.
Yes.
Go through something in order to be able to face what's coming.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
God defines us.
Yeah.
That's why he did these people that way.
Yes.
And to make us strong enough to be able to face those folks. And once the folks see them and hear what he's got to say, they'll be stronger too to be able to withstand, what's coming.
And we get strength from others. Do you know that? When you really don't think, that's why it's very important that you have a good, support system. That means that when you're mourning, when your own top is good, but when you're going through that, you got somebody you can lean on. Somebody, guess what, that may have been through what you've been through and don't mind saying that, guess what, I understand. I'm going to sit with you. Is there anything I'm going to pray for you? You ain't need that in this season. Even with everything going on in the world, because there's so much unassurance. So we definitely need people to just give us comfort when we need it. Ezekiel had to be the example. But he did it with strives. And we got to be examples. Examples on our jobs. Examples in our family. Examples in the church. That guess what? I took a hit, but I'm still standing. My God is still able. And that's the key. When you're still standing, you letting somebody know that I'm not standing on my own. I'm standing because of Jesus Christ. I'm standing because God is giving me the strength to endure these things. He has kept me. And that's one thing I see here. Ezekiel, he had a relationship with God. Had to have a relationship with God. To be over there in Axel and God still speaking. And he's still being obedient. Because even then, he didn't have to be obedient. You know, of course, that some of his family was still over there too. So not only that, it was his sanctuary that was destroyed. And not only did he lose his wife, but he lost his sanctuary. He lost his sons and daughters, family members. But he had to keep going on. He had to keep on, guess what, giving the message that God gave him. Do you know that even when you're going through, do you know that God, it ain't the end of your ministry? We see that in Paul when he was incarcerated. If you look, when people thought they were resting, even when Jesus, he said, well, look weary. So he sent the disciples away. And here come the Samaritan woman at the well. Ministry never stops. Do you know that even when you're mourning, ministry never stops. God still got work for you to do. Even when you think that you're not. Guess what? I went on vacation and I went down to the breakfast area to get something to eat. Hey, I'm going just to relax. And I'm looking out at the water and I'm happy. And do you know God sent the lady hostess? And then she became my friend. Every day the woman was there. I said, Lord, I didn't come to minister, to talk, or nothing else. I come just relax. But the Lord said, you know what? You can hide, but you can be called back, called out. It don't matter where you go. Right. Ministry is always available. It's always where you're going to be used by God. So I will say that yes, Ezekiel was used. And the next one says, why does God send the axe as a message about moving? And how does this connect to what they shall do? Why do you think God even gave them this message?
I think he gave it to them because of the fact that he knew what these people was going to tell them, and all their sons and daughters that died, trying to prepare them for what they were up against once they go back.
Yes.
So, he
was warning them, but I think also God be always trying to deal with us by our seed.
Oh, yeah.
Come on now. God was trying to let them know, look, y'all know y'all ain't right. And because of these sins, this stuff has come upon you. You're mourning your people. And not only that, because of your sin, things are happening to your family. Do you know what we do is affecting our family members? We wonder why our kids are acting up, why our families are struggling. That's because we're struggling. Go ahead.
Well, when I read that part just a minute ago, I got the impression from the reading that they were idolizing these like
Come on.
they were saying his for Ezekiel's wife, he was pretty much, that was his eye candy.
Oh, come on
So
now.
he was, you know, he was giving his all to him and didn't have his eyes on God. So he had to remove that eye candy from them, or the idolatry from them, that they will put their eyes back on him.
Yes, dog. That's a very good point. How many times we make other things our God? We do it.
Make our children.
Oh, me?
That's why they take it
Like
all
she
that.
said, I don't know about y'all, but I've had a man that I wanted to see before I saw the Lord. That is making somebody your God. And do you know when you look up and that person is gone? Or something happened in this? Because God don't want you to love no one. What did God say? He a jealous God. And besides me, there is no other. So guess what? He don't want you to be committing adultery to him. He wants you to be fully committed to him. So I do, Miss Donna, you're very correct.
And also, with the destroying of the moving them out in exile, because they were prideful because of the temple that they had. So he destroyed it.
Oh, come on, Miss Donna.
So your pride should not be the temple. Your pride should be the relationship with God.
God was taking them through some things. Have you ever seen when you on your high horse? I've seen a lot of people think that they the bomb. And guess what? God will cut you down. That's why you never, the Bible said, don't think highly than you ought about yourself. You know, people don't realize, yes, sometimes we think we the best. We got it going on. God sometimes got to humble us. So a lot of things happen because they were not right. Number one, they went to exile because what? They were committing sins. Their heart was not with God. Their heart was to do what they wanted to do. And God had to get their attention. And that's the same that we're talking about consequence. It's consequence because when we're supposed to do what's right and we continue because the key is God got his grace. He got his hand. But when you continue to do what he said not to do, it's going to be some type of consequence for your actions. And we see that here. It was consequences. But at the end of the day, God was still with them. Do you know that even if you were in exile, God still kept them. Even in captivity, he keeping us. Even when we got our consequence, we get through it. It might don't feel good, but it don't last forever. But God is getting our attention that I don't want you to continue to sin. I don't want you to continue to put people on a pedestal because we can't put nobody on the pedestal. Everybody's human. If you cut me, I bleed. That's all of us in here. So that means we're human. We're going to make some mistakes. We're going to fall down. We're going to get back up. But at the end of the day, we got to learn. And mourning, some people, if you live long, you will mourn. What is mourning? People going to die. We getting older. It's two things. I was telling somebody about, they were talking about surgery. I don't know if I want to get surgery, but you're real sick, and so it's only two choices. You get this surgery, you go away from here. It's only two choices. You learn when you want to live or you're going to die. So mourning is something that's going to happen. But mourning only supposed to last for a little while. Do you know that? Because guess what? Even with Joshua, he had mourned for Moses, his leader. We mourn for people. But then guess what? God spoke and told him, it's time to cross over the Jordan. That means it was time to move on. In life, guess what? It's time to mourn. But then when God left us still here, it's time to get busy. Even with Ezekiel, he was in exile, but God used him. God raised him up to be a leader. That means that guess what? You might be in captivity going through, and God will raise you up to be a leader to do something. Go ahead.
Even in the morning, if you keep yourself there for too long, you kind of like exile yourself because your mentation starts to take a hit, and then you go to a place that you didn't mean to go, but you stayed in that morning thing for so long that now you're there and you can't get out.
But that's why I do believe God spoke and told Ezekiel, make sure you got your sandals on. Yeah. Make sure your turban is on. Letting them know that guess what? If he had got in the state of mourning with his wife, he would have stayed there. He probably would have died in that state. So that's what he was saying, because he hadn't heard about the other hit. So he was letting them know, hey, I want you to be prepared. I want you to have what you need. I want you to keep on going because this ain't the only thing going to happen to you. Right. So when we look, it won't just that. There's sanctuary. Right. There's family members. So in other words, I do believe sometimes God allows things to happen and say, guess what? I'm going to keep you busy. Right. Think about, have you ever been mourning, but God had something that person might be dead, but you ain't.
Right.
And you ain't leaving this earth till God wants you to leave this earth. And God sometimes use somebody's death to make you, guess what, a better person. An example for the family to move forward. God was using Ezekiel as a leader to set an example and to show that if he did it, this is his wife. This is his beloved one. I mean, can you imagine somebody you being with I don't even know how many years they were married. But then all of a sudden she's gone. That hit him to his heart. But God said, but you got to move on. And I don't want you to mourn like this. So I was saying at the time, even in times of challenging and tribulations and mourning, we still need to listen for God's voice during those times to know what we need to do. If it's time to get up, if it's time to mourn, if it's time to go to someone to speak or somebody to come to us.
I like the way Jesus put it too. We told people, man, said, okay, let me go bury my father, then I'll come.
Yes, he did.
Follow you. He said, no, don't you worry about the father. You let your dead bury their own.
Yeah.
You just follow.
And we do. You know, life is to be lived.
Yeah.
If you're still healed, God got purpose and he got plan.
He does.
He had a plan for Ezekiel right in Exhale. He got a plan for us. Whatever the journey may be, my journey may not look like Zeke's journey, or Kevin, or Miss Dawn, or Mr. Bailey, but we all on a journey. And as long as when God give us breath in the morning to get up, he want us to put on I believe, sandals, our turban, and get to moving, to doing something. And guess what? Not just working for the jobs and we getting a check, or waiting on the mailbox because we're going to get our check. We better be knowing that guess what? God has kept you here for such a time as this to do some work for him. And to get busy doing what he has called us to do. The Bible said we got to work wise day because no man can work at night. Do you know night coming? But we look at the seasons, the things that's taking place. Night is coming, so we got to work wise day. And even if we don't need to look around and see who's working with us, because sometimes God gave you assignment all by yourself. But we got to keep on working. But yes, any comments or questions? Like I said, Old Testament a little hard. You got to do some seeking God on what he's trying to speak. But I do believe, you know, we can't mourn about the president and what's going on, the tariffs, the SNAP benefits, if Medicaid is gone. You know what I'm saying? I know my God. My God on the cattle on 1,000 hills. My God said he's going to supply all my needs according to his riches and glory. My God said he gave me power to obtain wealth. And it will be a transfer of wealth from the wicked hands to the just. So we know my God, he going to take care of us in the midst of whatever is getting ready to go on or what has gone on. If he's the same God yesterday, today, and forevermore, that means his word changes not. So that's the key. We got to stay encouraged. Not to get mourning. If things happen, yes, but you got to dust yourself off. You know what I'm saying? You got to dry your tears. If something bad happened to you, yes, it happened. But guess what? God will take your, guess what? Your scars and turn them into stars. He can change your situation. He can. He's already in your. He was in Ezekiel's situation. He just didn't know it at the time. But guess what? God blessed him. And guess what? He kept them even in a foreign land. God can keep you in a dry season. He can keep you in the valley. Do you know that? He can keep you on the mountaintop. He can keep you when friends walk away. He can keep you when loved ones die. My God is able to keep you no matter what go on in your life. Even if I'm going through the struggle health-wise. Even if I'm going financially with this problem. Even if I'm going through a relationship. But guess what? Trouble don't last always. Always. Let us stand to our feet.
I want to keep going on, don't get
Yeah. Please cut the heat off. We cut the heat off. Thank God it's 70 degrees today. But let me tell you this before we close.
That's the Holy Ghost fire.
Yeah, it is the Holy Spirit. Don't get me to lie, because I don't know what it is. You know, I didn't come in here like this, but God doing a stirring. Like I told you, he will use you, and no matter what season you in. You know what I'm saying? And you know what? God will refresh you. He will restore you. He will cultivate that thing that's within us. Do you know that? That's the type of God we serve. But even then, you know what? We went from cold 30 degrees to waking up at 60-some degrees right there. Look at the God we serve. God can do anything somebody close us out. Zeke, you looking like that, I believe it's you.
Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for this day that you have made, and we are continuing to rejoice in and being glad in it, Lord. We thank you for the word that's going forth, Father. We thank you that you continue speaking to us through your servant, Father, and giving instructions, Father, of life, Lord, that speaks rhema word as well as the written word, Father. We thank you for the servant. Lord, we ask you continue to bless the word, bless the pastor, Father, lift up the service, that you will receive all glory, honor, and praise. In Jesus' name, thank you.
Amen.
Thank you, Zeke. Oh yeah, you know I get excited. Look, that's always. I do that all the